Hello, this is a quick video just to show you a method that I know about fractions. So if I start with something like 2/5 and 1/3, okay? Now obviously most people are quite happy with these. The reason why I'm showing this method is because it's a little bit faster, so it will save you a little bit of time. And also it's really good if you're trying to do sort of the grade 8 and 9 GCSE questions. So I'm going to link a separate video after this one, and I'll be going through some hard algebra type questions which involve the use of this method. Okay. But first let's just go through how we would normally do this. So normally we would look for what we call a common denominator. And if we look at 5 and 3 and their times tables, you would see that 15 is in both. Okay. So that would be what we make the denominator here. So it's both the same. The reason why we can't add these fractions at the minute is because these denominators are different. But now they're the same, okay, then we can add the fractions. But there is a problem. You can't just make them 15 like that. So the 5 that you had here, you've turned it into a 15. So you've actually multiplied 5 by 3 to get to 15. So you must multiply the top number, the numerator, by the same. So we need to do 2 times 3, which will give us 6, okay? So we have to change both numbers the same. Okay, now, if we look at the other one here, we have the 3. To go from the 3 to this 15, we've done 3 times by 5 to get to 15. So we must also times the numerator by 5. So 1 times 5 gives us 5. Now the denominators are the same, we simply add the tops. So that will give us 11 over 15 as our final answer. Now let me just show you a method which I use. As I said, it will extend onto algebraic fractions. Oops. Okay, so what I would do is just write out 2 fractions with a plus sign between, since that's what we have here in the middle. Then we can go ahead and fill this out. So here we have an arrow, which means to do 3 times by 2, and that goes towards the top left since the arrow points that way. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, then we have an arrow going from the 5 to the 1, and the arrow is pointing towards the top right. 5 times 1 is 5, so that goes there. Then we have 5 times by 3, which gives you 15, and both arrows point to the bottom, so we write them under both. And that will then give you the same answer as we got before. Okay, so I'm only going to show you this really quickly. I will do a separate video which goes through more of these, but I'll just show you really quickly why this method's so powerful. Okay, so let's say we had to do something like this, where we need to combine these. So I'll put combine these algebraic fractions. So this would be actually called algebraic fractions. We do have questions on this, quite a lot of them, so I will do a separate video on this. But let me just show you how this is done. If I do exactly the same thing I did with the fraction above, I'll apply that pattern. I will then write my equal sign, and I'll write out 2 fractions with a plus sign. Okay. So what I have, let's do this one first. We have x minus 3 in a bracket multiplied by 4, and that goes towards the top left. For now, I'm just going to write 4 times the bracket x minus 3. So I've not expanded it yet. The one that goes towards the top right would be the 3. Sorry, just dropped my pen. So, as I was saying, the one that goes towards the top right is going to be the 3 multiplied by x plus 2. and then we've got the bottom. So you can see that both arrows point towards the bottom, and these two things are going to be multiplied together. So since brackets means multiply mass, we can just simply write x plus 2 and x minus 3 next to each other under both. Hope you can see that okay. Okay, like that. Now obviously, since these are actually the same though now, I could just write this as one fraction. So that's what I will do in my next step. So it's now just going to be one nice neat fraction. And the top bit, I need to expand all of this. And remember, it's all added together. So I've got 4 times by x here, which gives me 4x. I've got 4 times by minus 3. So positive times a negative, so gives me a negative. So 4 times by minus 3 gives me minus 12. I'm going to put that in a bracket because that is this one here, okay? And then I've got the other one, that's over here. So I need to do 3 times by x, so that gives me 3x. Remember the plus here, look, would come down. And we've got 3 times by the 2, which gives me plus 6. And that one is this one, okay? And finally, we just add all the like terms up at the top. Bottom's not going to change at all. So you've got 4x plus 3x, which gives you 7x. And then you've actually got minus 12 here, plus a 6. So you're adding 6 to a negative number. It's going to get closer to 0. So adding 6 to negative 12 gives you minus 6. Okay, and that will be your final answer. So by the way, if you don't like that last bit with the negative 12 and the positive 6, I know some people hate that. I'm just going to show you a really quick method that I use for that. How should I do that? I'm going to lay this out here. So that's the bottom bit, just write that in anyway. So pretty happy that the 4x and the 3x added up gives you 7x, so let's just write that there. Then you end up with a minus 12 and a plus 6. Let's focus in on this bit here. Okay. What do I do with this? So what I do is I actually think of the difference in the numbers of 12 and 6. I don't care about the signs, either the positive or negative. I just think of the difference. So let's write that here. First thing is the difference. Okay. Difference in 12 and 6 would be 6. So what I mean is basically doing 12 take away 6. What is the difference? Right, second thing, then I just look at which number is larger. Okay, and that in this case would be the 12, right? And you should then notice that the 12 also has a negative sign in front of it. So that means that the overall number will be negative. And so that means it will be negative 6. Okay. And that's why you get that. Okay. Hope that helps and have a nice day. I will be linking the separate video probably next week. So looking forward to that. Take care.